shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant and breathe short-winded accents of new broils, to be commenced in strands of far remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hooves of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes, which like the meteors in a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now in mutual well-beseeming ranks march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as to the sepulchre of Christ, his soldier now, under whose blessed cross we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith the power of English shall we levy, whose arms were molded in their mother's womb, to chase these pagans in those holy fields, over whose acres walk those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose is a 12-month old, and bootless 'tis to tell you we will go. Therefore we meet not now. And let me hear of you, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
My liege, this haste was hot in question, and many limits of the charge set down but yesternight, when all athwart there came a post from Wales, loaden with heavy news, whose worst was that the noble Mortimer, leading the men of Herefordshire to fight against the irregular and wild Glendower, was by the rude hands of that Welshman taken, 1,000 of his people butchered, upon whose dead corpse was such misuse, such beastly shameless transformation by those Welsh women done, as may not without much shame be retold or spoken of.
It seems then that the tidings of this broil break off our business for the Holy Land.
This matched with other did, my gracious lord, for more uneven and unwelcome news came from the north, and thus it did import. On Holyrood Day the gallant Hotspur there, young Harry Percy, and brave Archibald, that ever valiant and approved Scot, at Holmdom met, where they did spend a sad and bloody hour, as by discharge of their artillery in shape of likelihood the news was told, for he that brought them in the very heat and pride of their contention did take horse, uncertain of the issue any way.
Here is a dear and true industrious friend, Sir Walter Blunt, new lighted from his horse, stained with the variation of each soil betwixt that Holmdon and this seat of ours, and he hath brought us smooth and welcome news. The Earl of Douglas is discomfited. 10,000 bold Scots, 22 knights did Sir Walter see, balked in their own blood on Holmdon plains. Of prisoners Hotspur took Mordick the Earl of Fife, and eldest son to Beaton Douglas, and the Earls of Athol, of Murray, Angus, and Menteith. And is not this an honourable spoil? A gallant prize, our cousin, is it not? If faith it is.
A conquest for a prince to boast of.
Yea. There thou mak'st me sad, and mak'st me sin in envy that my lord Northumberland should be the father to so blessed a son. A son who is the theme of honour's tongue, amongst her grove the very straightest plant, who is sweet fortune's minion and her pride. Whilst I, by looking on the praise of him, see riot and dishonour stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay, and called mine Percy, his Plantagenet. Then would I have his Harry, and he mine. But let him from my thoughts. What think you, cause of this young Percy's pride? The prisoners which he in this adventure hath surprised to his own use he keeps, and sends me word I shall have none but Mordick Earl of Fife.
This is his uncle's teaching. This is Worcester, malevolent to you in all aspects, which makes him prune himself and bristle up the crest of youth against your dignity.
But I had sent for him to answer this. And for this cause a while we must neglect our holy purpose to Jerusalem. Cousin, on Wednesday next our council we will hold at Windsor. So inform the lords. But come yourself with speed to us again, for more is to be said and to be done than out of anger can be uttered.
I will, my liege.
Good for the Lord. the fairest star.
What time of day is it, lad?
Thou art so fat-witted with the drinking of old sack and unbuttoning me after supper and sleeping on benches afternoon, thou hast forgotten to demand truly what thou wouldst truly know. What a devil hast thou to do with the time of day? Unless hours were cups of sack, minutes capons, clocks the tongues of boards, and dials the signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself, a fair, hot wench in flame-colored taffeta, I see no reason why thou shouldst be so superfluous as to demand the time of day.
Indeed, you come near me now, Hal. For we that take purses go by the moon and the 7 stars, and not by Phoebus, he that wandering night so fair. But I pray thee, sweet wag, when thou art king, as God save thy grace, majesty, I should say, for grace thou wilt have none.
What, none?
No, by my troth, not so much as will serve to be prologue to an egg and butter.
Well, how then? Come, roundly, roundly.
Marry then, sweet wag, when thou art king, let not us that are squires of the night's body be called thieves of the day's beauty. Let us be Diana's foresters, gentlemen of the shade, minions of the moon, and let men say we be men of good government, being governed as the sea is, by our noble and chaste mistress, the moon, under whose countenance we steer.
Thou sayest well, and it holds well, too, for the fortunes of us that are the moon's men do ebb and flow like the sea, being governed as the sea is by the moon. For proof now, a purse most resolutely snatched on Monday night and most dissolutely spent on Tuesday morning, got with swearing lay by and spent with crying bring in. Now in as low an ebb as the foot of the ladder, and by in as high a flow as the ridge of the gallows.
By the Lord thou sayest true, lad. And is not my hostess of the tavern a most sweet wench?
As the honey of Ibla, my old lad at the castle. And is not a buff jerkin a most sweet robe of durance?
How now? Mad wag, what with thy quips and thy quiddities? What a plague have I to do with a buff jerk?
What a pox have I to do with my hostess of the tavern?
Thou hast called her to a reckoning many a time and all.
Did I ever call for thee to pay thy part?
No, I'll give thee thy due. Thou hast paid all there.
Yea, and elsewhere, too, so far as my coin would stretch. And were it would not, I've used my credit.
Yea, and so used it, were it not here apparent that thou art heir apparent.
Oh!
But I pray thee, sweet wag, shall there be gallows standing in England when thou art king, and resolution thus fobbed as it is by the rusty curb of old Father Antic, the law? Do not thou, when thou art king, hang a thief?
No, thou shalt.
Shall I? Oh, rare. I'll be a brave judge.
Oh, that judge is false already. I mean, thou shalt have the hanging of thieves, and therefore become a rare hangman.
Well. And in some sort it jumps with my humor, as well as waiting in the court, I can tell you.
For the obtaining of suits?
Yea, for the obtaining of suits, whereof the hangman hath no lean wardrobe. His blood, I'm as melancholy as a jib cat or a lugged bear.
Or an old lion or a lover's lute?
Yea, or the drone of a Lancashire bagpipe.
What sayest thou to a hare? Or the melancholy of Moorditch?
Oh, yes, the most unsavory similes, and art indeed the most comparative rascaliest, sweet young prince. But hell, I pray thee, trouble me no more with vanity. I would to God thou and I knew where a commodity of good names were to be bought. And no lord of the council rated me in the street the other day about you, sir, but I marked him not. Yet he spoke very wise, yet I regarded him not, and yet he spoke wisely, and in the street, too.
Thou didst well, for wisdom cries out in the street, and no man regards it.
Oh, thou hast the most damnable iteration, and art indeed able to corrupt a saint. Thou'st done much harm upon me, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, Hal, I knew nothing, and now am I, if a man were to speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. I must give over this life, and I will give it over. If I do not, I'm a villain. I'll be damned for never a king's son in Christendom.
Well, we take a purse tomorrow, Jack.
Sounds where thou wilt, lad. I'll make one. If I do not call me villain and baffle me.
I see a good amendment of life in thee. From praying to purse taking.
Why, hell, 'tis my vocation, hell. 'Tis no sin for a man to labor at his vocation. Right! Now we shall know if Gads will have set a match. Oh, if men were to be saved by merit, what hole in hell were hard enough for him? This is the most omnipotent villain that ever cried stand to a true man.
Good morrow, man.
Good morrow, sweet Hal. What says Monsieur Remorse? What says Sir John Sack and Sugar? Jack, how agrees the devil in thee about thy soul, that thou soldest him on Good Friday last for a cup of Madeira and a cold capon sleigh?
Sir John stands to his word, and the devil shall have his bargain. For he was never yet a breaker of proverbs. He'll give the devil his due.
Then art thou damned for keeping thy word with the devil.
Else he be damned for cousining the devil.
But, my lads, tomorrow morning by 4 o'clock early at Gad's Hill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, traders riding to London with fat purses. I have visits for you all. You have horses for yourselves. Gad's Hill lies tonight in Rochester. I have bespoke supper tomorrow night in Eastcheap. We may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go, I will stuff your purses full of crowns. If you will not, tarry at home and be hanged.
Hear ye, Edward. If I tarry at home and go not, I'll hang you for going.
You will, chaps.
Hal, wilt thou make one?
Who, I, Rob? I, a thief? Not I, by my faith.
There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship in thee, nor thou comest not of the blood royal if thou darest not stand for 2 shillings.
Well, then once in my days I'll be a madcap.
That's well said.
Come what may, I'll tarry at home.
By the Lord, I'll be a traitor then when thou art king.
I care not.
Sir John, I prithee leave the prince and me alone, and I will lay him down such reason for this adventure that he shall go.
Well, God give thee the spirit of persuasion and him the ears of profiting, that what thou speakest may move and what he hears may be believed, that the true prince may for recreation's sake prove a false thief. For the pure abuses of our time want countenance. Farewell, you shall find me in Eastcheap.
Farewell, thou latter spring. Farewell, all hallowed summer.
Now, my good sweet honey lord, ride with us tomorrow. I have a jest to execute that I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Bardolph, Gadshill, and Peto shall rob those men that we have already waylaid. Yourself and I will not be there. Then, when they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut this head off from my shoulders.
How shall we part with them in setting forth?
Why, we set forth either before or after them, and appoint them a place of meeting, where it is at our pleasure to fail. Then will they adventure upon the exploit themselves, which they shall have no sooner achieved, but we'll set upon them.
'Tisn't like they'd know us by our horses, by our habit, and by every other appointment to be ourselves.
Tonight our horses they will not see. I'll tie them in the wood. Our visits we will change after we leave them. And, Sarah, I have cases of buckram for the nonce to unmask our noted outward garments.
I doubt they'd be too hard for us.
Well, for 2 of them, I know them to be as true-bred cowards that ever turn back. And for the 3rd, if he fights longer than he sees reason, I'll forswear arms. The virtue of the jest will be the incomprehensible lies the same fat rogue will tell us when we meet at supper. How 30 at least he fought with. What wards, what blows, what extremities he endured. And in the reproof of this lies the jest.
Well, I'll go with thee. Meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. There I'll sup. Farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
I know you all. Then will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base, contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapors that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come, and nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off, and pay the debt I never promise it, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's fears. and like bright metal on a sullen ground, my reformation, glittering all my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
My blood has been too cold and temperate, unapt to stir at these indignities. And you have found me, for accordingly you tread upon my patience. But be sure from henceforth I will rather be myself, mighty and to be feared, than my condition which hath been smooth as oil, soft as young down, and therefore lost that title of respect which the proud soul ne'er pays but to the proud.
Our house, my sovereign liege, little deserves the scourge of greatness to be used on it. And that same greatness, too, which our own hands have helped to make so portly.
My lord, now get thee gone, for I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye. Oh, sir, your presence is too bold and peremptory. And Majesty might never yet endure the moody frontier of a servant brow. You have good leave to leave us. When we need your use and counsel, we will send for you. You were about to speak.
Yea, my good lord. Those prisoners in your highness' name demanded, which Harry Percy here at Homedon took, whereas he says not with such strength denied as is delivered to your majesty. Either envy, therefore, or Miss Prisian is guilty of this fault, and not my son.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners. But I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed, fresh as a bridegroom, and his chin-new reap showed like a stubble-landed harvest home. He was perfumed like a milliner, and fixed his finger in his thumb, he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and took away again. Who therewith angry, when it next came there, took it in snuff. And still he smiled and talked, and as the soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught knaves, unmannerly to bring a slovenly, unhandsome corpse betwixt the wind and his nobility, with many holiday and lady terms he questioned me, amongst the rest demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting with my wounds being cold to be so pestered with a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience answered neglectingly, I know not what he should or he should not, for he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet, and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds, God save the martyr, telling me the sovereign sting on earth was part of Missetti for an inward bruise, and that it was great pity, so it was, this villainous saltpeter should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth, which many a good tall fellow had destroyed so cowardly, and but for these vile guns he would himself have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly, as I said. And I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
The circumstance considered, good my lord, whatever Lord Harry Percy had said to such a person, such a time, such a place, with all the rest we told may reasonably die and never rise to do him wrong. So he unsay it now.
Why, yet he doth deny his prisoners. But with proviso and exception that we at our own charge shall ransom straight his brother-in-law, the foolish Mortimer, who on my soul hath wilfully betrayed the lives of those that he did lead to fight against the great magician Dan Glendower, whose daughter, as we hear, this Mortimer hath lately married. Shall our coffers then be empty to redeem a traitor home? Shall we buy treason and indent with fears when they have lost and forfeited themselves? No. In the barren mountains let him starve. For I shall never hold that man my friend whose tongue shall ask me for 1 penny cost to ransom home revolted Mortimer.
Revolted Mortimer! He never did fall off my sovereign liege but by the chance of war! To prove that true needs no more but one tongue, for all those wounds, those mouthed wounds, which valiantly he took when on the gentle 7 century bank in single opposition, hand to hand he did confound the best part of an hour, in changing Hardiman with great Glendower. Never did base and rotten policy colour her working with such deadly wounds, nor never did the noble Mortimer receive so many, and all willingly. And let not him be slandered with revolt.
Thou dost belie him, Percy, thou dost belie him. He never did encounter with Glendower. I tell thee, he just as well have met the devil alone as Owen Glendower for an enemy. Art thou not ashamed? But, sirrah, from henceforth let me not hear you speak of Mortimer. Send me your prisoners with your speediest means, or you shall hear in such a kind from me as will displease you. My Lord Northumberland, we license your departure with your son. Send us your prisoners, or you'll hear of it.
As the devil come and roll for them, I will not send them. I will after straight and tell him so, for I will ease my heart, albeit I'll make a hazard of my head.
What drunk with colour? Stay and pause a while. Here comes your uncle.
Speak of Mortimer. Sons, I will speak of him. Let my soul want mercy if I do not join with him. Yea, on his part I'll empty all these veins, and shed my dear blood drop by drop in the dust. But I will lift the downtrodden Mortimer as high in the air as this ungrateful king, as this ingrate and cake of Bolingbroke.
The king hath made your nephew mad.
Who struck this heat up after I was gone?
He will, forsooth, have all my prisoners. And when I urged the ransom once again of my wife's brother, then his cheek looked pale, and on my face he turned an eye of death, trembling even at the name of Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard that dead is the next of blood?
He was. I heard the proclamation. And then it was when the unhappy king, whose wrongs in us God pardon, did set forth upon his Irish expedition, from whence he intercepted did return to be deposed and shortly murdered.
And for whose death we in the world's wide mouth live scandalized and foully spoken of.
But soft, I pray you. Did King Richard then proclaim my brother, Edmund Mortimer, heir to the crown?
He did, myself did hear it.
Nay, but I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountain starve. But shall it be that you that set the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake wear the detested blot of murderous subornation? Shall it be that you a world of curses undergo, being the agents or base second means, the cords, the ladder, or the hangman rather? So pardon that I descend so low to show the line and the predicament wherein you range under this subtle king. Shall it for shame be spoken in these days, or fill up chronicles in time to come, that men of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf, as both of you, God pardon it, have done, to put down Richard, that sweet, lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker, Bolingbroke? And shall it for more shame be further spoken that you are fooled, discarded, and put off by him for whom these shames ye underwent? No! Yet time serves wherein you may redeem your banished honors, and restore yourselves into the good thoughts of the world again. Revenge the daring and disdain contempt of this proud king, who studies day and night to answer all the debt he owes to you, even with a bloody payment of your death. Therefore I say
Please, cousin, say no more. And now I will unclasp a secret book, and to your quick conceiving discontents, I'll read you matter deep and dangerous, as full of peril and adventurous spirit as to o'ercross a current roaring loud on the unsteadfast footing of a spear.
If he fall in, good night, or sink or swim. Send danger from the east unto the west, so on across it from the north to south, and let them grapple. Oh, the blood more stirs around the lion than to start a hare.
Imagination of some great exploit drives him beyond the bounds of patience.
By heaven, methinks it were an easy leap to pluck bright honor from the pale-faced moon, or dive into the bottom of the deep where fathom line could never touch the ground, and pluck up drowned honor by the locks. So he that doth redeem her thence might wear without corrival all her dignities, but out upon this half-based fellowship.
He apprehends a world of figures here, but not the form of what he should attend. Good cousin, give me audience for a while.
I cry you mercy.
Those noble Scots that are your prisoners...
I'll keep them all! By God, he shall not have a Scot of them. Nay, if a Scot would save his soul, he shall not. I'll keep them by this hand.
You start away and lend no ear unto my purposes. Those prisoners you shall keep.
Nay, I will, that's flat. He said he would not ransom Mortimer. Forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer. But I will find him where he lies asleep, and in his ear I'll have Mortimer! Nay, I'll have a starling shall be taught to speak nothing but Mortimer, and give it him to keep his anger still in motion.
Hear you, cousin, a word.
Oh, studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pitch this Bolingbroke. And that same sort embucked our Prince of Wales, but that I think his father loves him not, and would be glad he met with some mischance. I'd have him poisoned with a pot of ale.
Farewell, kinsman. I'll talk to you when you are better tempered to attend.
Why, what a wasp-stung and impatient fool art thou to break into this woman's mood, tying thine ear to no tongue but thine own.
Why, look you, I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettled and stung with piss mires. I hear of this vile politician, Bolingbroke. In Richard's time, what do you call the place? Plegaponce, Gloucestershire. 'Twas where the mad Duke, his uncle, kept his uncle York. When I first bowed my knee unto this king of smiles, this Bolingbroke, splat, when you and he came back from Ravensburg.
At Berkeley Castle.
You say true. Why, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Look, when his infant fortune comes of age, and gentle Harry Percy, and kind cousin, oh, the devil take such cousins! God forgive me. Good uncle, tell your tale, I have done.
Nay, if you have not, to it again. We will stay your leisure.
I have done nothing.
Then once more to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom straight, and make the Douglas son your only means for powers in Scotland, which for divers reasons, which I shall send you written, be assured, shall easily be granted. You, my lord, your son in Scotland being thus employed, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate well beloved, the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True, who bears hard his brother's death at Bristol, the Lord Scrope. I speak not this in estimation as what I think might be, for what I know is ruminated, plotted, and set down, and merely stays but to behold the face of that occasion that shall bring it on.
I smell it! Upon my life it will do well!
Before the game's afoot, thou still let slip.
It cannot choose but be a noble plot, and in the power of Scotland and of York, to join with Mortimer, ha?
And so they shall.
In faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
'Tis no little reason bids us speed, to save our heads by raising of a head. For bear ourselves as even as we can, the king will always think him in our debt, and we think ourselves unsatisfied, till he hath found a time to pay us home. And see already how he doth begin to make us strangers to his looks of love.
He does. He does. We'll be revenged on him.
Farewell, kinsman. No further go in this, and I by letter shall direct your course. When the time is ripe, which shall be suddenly, I will steal the Glendower Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas and our powers at once as I will fashion it shall happily meet, to bear our fortunes in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
Uncle, adieu. Oh, let the hours be short, to fields and blows and thrones upon our sport.
It be not so by the day I'll be hanged. Charles Wayne's o'er the new chimney, and yet our horse not packed. What horse left? I prithee, Tom, be cut saddle. Put a few flocks in the point. The poor jade is rolling the withers out of all cess.
He's as binge as dang kid as a dog, and that's the next way to give poor Jage the butts. This house has turned upside down since Robin Ostler died.
Poor fellow, never joyed since the price of oats rose. It was the death of him.
I think this be the most villainous house in all London Road, for fleas I'm stung like a tench.
Like a tench? Why, the master's ne'er a king in Christendom could be better bit than I have been since the first cock.
Why, they will allow us near the Jordan. And then we leak in your chimney and your chime I breeds fleas like a loach.
What, sir? Come away and be hanged! Come away, I say!
I've a gammon of bacon and 2 rices of ginger to be delivered as far as Charing Cross.
Odds body, the turkeys in my pannier are quite starved. What, Osler? A plague on me! Hast thou never an eye in thy head? Canst not hear? For not a good a deed as drink to break the pate of thee, I'm a very villain. Come away and be hanged, I say. Hast no faith in thee?
Good morrow, carriers. What's o'clock?
I think it be 2 o'clock.
I prithee, lend me thy lantern to see my gelweed in the stable.
Eh, soft, I know a trick worth 2 of that, faith.
I prithee, lend me thy...
When canst lend me thy lantern, quotha. Maybe I'll see the hang first.
Sirrah, what time do you expect to come to London?
Time enough to go to bed with a candle, I'll warrant thee. Come, neighbour Muggs, we'll call up the gentlemen. They're along with company for their great charge.
Ho, Chamberlain!
And hand for papers.
That's almost as fair as at hand, quoth the Chamberlain. For thou variest no more from picking of purses than direction doth from labouring. Thou layest the plot how?
Good morrow, Master Gertrude. It's current that I told you yesterday. There's a Franklin in the wild of Kenterath brought 300 marks with him in gold. I didn't tell it to one of his fellows last night at supper. The kind of auditor, one that hath abundance of charge, God knows what. They're up already and call for eggs and butter. They will away presently.
Sirrah, if they meet not with St. Nicholas's clocks, I'll give thee this neck.
No, I'll none of it. I prithee, save it for the hangman. Another worth for St. Nicholas as truly as any man of falsehood may.
What? Talkest thou to me of the hangman? Mm-hmm. Huh. If I hang, I'll make a fat pat of gallows. But if I hang, old Sir John hangs with me. And thou knowest he is no starveling. Tut! There are other Trojans that thou dreamest not of, the which, for the sport's sake, would be content to do the profession some grace, and would, should matters be looked into, for their own certain sake, make all whole. I am joined with no footland rakers, no long-staffed sixpenny strikers, none of those mad mustachio, purple-hued maltworms, but with nobility, tranquility, burgomasters and great one-ears, such as can hold in, such as will strike sooner than speak, and speak sooner than drink, and drink sooner than pray. And yet zounds I lie, for they pray continually to their saint, the Commonwealth, or rather not pray to her, but pray on her. We steal as in a castle, cocksure. We have the recipe of fern seed. We walk invisible.
Nay, by my faith, I think you must be holding to the night and the fern seed for your walking invisible.
Give me your hand. You shall have a share in our purchase as I am a true man.
Nay, rather let me have it as you're a false thief.
Go to. Man is a common name to all. Bid the ostler bring my gelding out of the stable. Farewell, ye muddy days.
Come, shelter, shelter. I have removed Falstaff's horse, and he frets like a gun velvet.
Stand close. Point! Point to be hanged! Point!
Peace, you fat-kitted rascal. What a brawling dost thou keep?
Where's Point, Hal?
He's walked up to the top of the hill. I'll go seek him.
I'm accursed to rob in that thief's company. The rascal hath removed my horse and tied him I know not where. I travel but 4 foot by the squire. Further afoot I shall break my wind. Well, I doubt not but to die a fair death for all this, if I escape hanging for killing that rogue. I've forsworn his company any time this 22 years, yet I'm bewitched with the rogue's company. If the rascal hath not given me medicines to make me love him, I'll be hanged. It cannot be else. I have drunk medicines. Boys! Hell! I'll plague upon you both. Bodo! Pedo! I'll starve ere I'll rob a foot further. And for not as good a deed as drink to turn true man and leave these rogues, I'm the veriest varlet that ever chewed with a tooth. 80 of 8 yards of uneven ground is 70 miles afoot with me, and the stony-hearted villains know it well enough. Plague upon it when thieves cannot be true one to another. Oh, plague upon you all! Give me my horse, you rogues! Give me my horse and be hanged!
Peace, you fat guts! Lie down, put thine ear next to the ground and list if thou can steer the tread of travelers.
Have you any levers to lift me up again, being down? Blood, I'll not bear mine own flesh so far afoot again for all the coin in thy father's exchequer. What a plague mean you to colt me thus?
You lie, you rogue. You're not colted, you're uncolted.
Good Prince Hal, help me to my horse, good king's son.
Out, you rogue. Shall I be your ostler?
Go, hang thyself in thy own heir apparent garters. If I be ta'en, I'll peach for this. I have not ballads made on you all and sung to filthy tunes. Let a cup of sack be my poison. When a jest is so forward, and a foot, too, I hate it. So I do, against my will.
Oh, 'tis our setter. I know his voice.
Stacey, out with your visit. There's money of the king's coming down the hill. 'Tis going to the king's exchequer.
You lie, you rogue. 'Tis going to the king's tavern.
That's enough to make us all.
To be hanged.
Sirs, you four shall front them in the narrow lane. Ned Poins and I will walk lower. If they escape from your encounter, they light on us.
How many be there of
Some 8 or 10.
Towns will they not rob us?
What a coward, Sir John Poins.
Indeed, I am not John of Gaunt, your grandfather, but yet no coward now.
Well, we'll leave that to the proof.
Sir Jack, thy horse stands behind the hedge. When thou needst him, there shalt thou find him. Farewell, and stand fast.
Now cannot I strike him, should I be hanged?
Ned, where are our disguises?
Here, hard by, stand close.
Now, my masters, happy man be sold, say I. Every man to his business.
Come, neighbor. The boy will lead our horses down the hill. We'll walk a while and ease our feet.
Stand!
Oh!
Right!
Stand!
Cut the village scrubs! Horse and caterpillars! Bacon fed knaves, they hate us, youth! Down with them! Right, place her!
Oh, we are undone, both we and our boy.
Hang you four-bellied knaves! Are you undone? No, you fat chuffs! I would your store were here! On, bacons, on! What your names? Young men must live! You're grand jurors, are you? We'll jury your fate!
The thieves have found the true men. Now couldst thou and I rob the thieves and go merrily to London. Be argument for a week, laughter for a month, and good jest forever.
Stand close, I hear them coming.
Come, my masters, let us share and then to horse before day. The prince and Poins be not two errant cowards. There's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that Poins than in a wild duck.
Your money! Duck with much ease. Now merrily to horse. The thieves are scattered and possessed with fear so strongly they dare not meet each other. Each takes his fellow for an officer. Away, good man. Bolts that sweats to death and lauds the lean earth as he walks along. Were it not for laughing, I should pity him.
Oh, the rogue!
But for mine own part, my lord, I could be well contented to be there in the respect of the love I bear your house. Could be contented. Why is he not then? In the respect of the love he bears our house. Ha! Shows in this he loves his own barn better than he loves our house. Let me see some more. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. Well, that's certain. 'Tis dangerous to take a cold, to sleep, to drink. But I tell you, my lord fool, out of this nettle danger we pluck this flower safety. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. The friend you have named uncertain. The time itself unsorted. And the whole plot too light for the counterpoise of so great an opposition. Say you so, say you so. And I say unto you again, you're a shallow cowardly hiding your lie. What a lack brain is this? Well, plot's a good plot as ever was laid. Good friends, good plot and full of expectations. Excellent plot, very good friends. What a frosty-spirited rogue is this? Zounds! Why, my lord, of York commends a plot in the general course of the action. I will now by this fellow, I will rain him with his lady's fan. Is there not my father, my uncle, and myself? Lord Edmund Mortimer, my Lord of York, and Owen Glendower. Is there not beside the Douglas? And have I not all the letters to meet me in arms by the 9th part of the month? And have not some of them set forward already? What a pagan rascal is this? And then, ha! You will see now in very sincerity and cold fear will he to the king and lay open all our proceedings. Though I could find myself in those buffets for moving such a dish of skin milk with so honorable an action. Hang it! Let him tell the king. We are prepared. I will set forward tonight. How now, Kate? I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good Lord, why are you thus alone? For what offense have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is it takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth and start so oft when thou sitt'st alone? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy? In thy faint slumbers I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, speak terms of manage thy bounding steed, cry courage the field. Thou hast talked of sallies and retires, trenches, tents, palisados, frontiers, parapets, of basilisk, cannon, culverin, of prisoners, ransomed, soldiers slain, and all the currents of a heady fight. The spirit within thee hath been so at war, and thus has so bestirred thee in thy sleep, that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow like bubbles in the late disturbed stream, and in thy face strong motions have appeared, such as we see when men restrain their breath on some great sudden hest. Oh, what portents are these! Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it. Else he loves me not.
What ho! Is Gillens with the packet gone?
Yes, my lord, but an hour ago.
Has Butler bought those horses from the sheriff?
Aye, my lord.
What horse? The roan? The crop-eared, is it not?
It is, my lord.
That roan shall be my throne. Well, I will back him straight. Oh, aspirant. Bid Butler lead him forth into the park.
But hear you, my lord.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
Why, my horse, my love, my horse.
Oh, out, you mad-headed ape! A weasel hath not such a deal of spleen as you are tossed with. In faith, I'll know your business, Harry, that I will. I fear my brother Mortimer doth stir about his title, and has sent for you to line his enterprise, but if you go...
So far afoot, I shall be weary now.
Come, you Parakeeto, answer me directly unto this question that I ask. In faith, thou break thy little finger, Harry, and if thou wilt not tell me all things true.
Away, away, you trifler! Love? I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammoths and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and cracked crowns, and pass some current, too. Guts me my horse! What sayest thou, Kate? What wouldst thou have with me?
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Well, do not then, for since you love me not, I will not love myself. Do you not love me? Nay, tell me if you speak in jest or no.
Come, Kate, wilt thou see me ride? And when I'm a horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely. But hark ye, Kate, I must not have you henceforth question me whither I go, or reason whereabout. Whither I must, I must. And to conclude this evening will I leave you, gentle Kate. I know you wise, but yet no farther wise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman. And for secrecy no lady closer. For I well believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know. And so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
Oh, so far.
Not an inch further. But hark you, Kate. Whither I go, thither shall you go too. Today will I set forth, tomorrow you. Will this content you, Kate?
It must, of course.
Ned! Prithee, come out of that bathroom and lend me thy hand to laugh a little.
Where's Ben, Hal?
3 or 4 loggerheads amongst 3 or 4 score hogsheads. I have sounded the very bass string of humility. Sirrah, I am the sworn brother to a leash of drawers and can call each by his christened name as Tom, Dick, and Francis. They take it already on their salvation that though I am but Prince of Wales, yet I am the king of courtesy. They tell me flatly I'm no proud jack like Falstaff, but a Corinthian, a lad of metal, a good boy. By the Lord, so they call me. Oh, I tell thee, Ned, thou hast lost much honor thou art not with me in this action. But, sweet Ned, to sweeten which name of Ned I give thee this pennyworth of sugar, clapped even now into my hand by an underskinker, one that never spake other English in his life than 8 shillings and 6pence. And you are welcome, sir, with this shrill addition. Anon, sir, score a pint of bastard in the half moon or so. But Ned, to drive away the time till Falstaff come, do thou stand in some by-room whilst I question my puny drawer to what end he gave me the sugar. And do thou never leave off calling Francis, that his tale to me may be nothing but anon. Step aside, I'll show thee a precedent.
Francis!
No, it's perfect.
Francis!
Anon, sir. Look down into the pond, garnet roll.
Come hither, Francis.
My lord.
How long hast thou to serve, Francis?
Forsooth, 5 years. That is my...
Francis!
Anon!
5 years, by a lady, a long lease for the clinking of pewter. But, Francis, darest thou be so valiant as to play the coward with thy indenture and show it a fair pair of heels and run from it?
Oh, Lord, sir, I'd be sworn on all the books in England I could find it in my heart.
Francis!
Anon!
How old art thou, Francis?
Let me see. Michaelmas next I shall be...
Francis!
Anon! Pray, stay a little, my lord.
Nay, but hark you, Francis, for the sugar thou gavest me, 'twas a pennyworth, was not?
Oh, Lord, sir, I would it had been 2.
I will give thee for it £1,000. Ask when thou wilt, thou shalt have it.
Francis!
Anon, Francis! No, Francis, but tomorrow, Francis, or Francis a Thursday, or indeed, Francis, when thou wilt. But, Francis...
My lord?
Wilt thou rob this leather jerkin, crystal button, knot, pated puke, stocking, caddis, gartered, agate ring, smooth tongue, Spanish pouch?
Oh, Lord, sir, who do you mean?
Why, then, brown bastard is your only drink. And your white canvas doublet will sully, Francis. In Barbary, sir, it cannot come to so much.
What, sir?
Francis! Ah, you rogue, dost not hear them calling?
Francis!
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 Why stand so still and hear such a calling? Look to the guests within. Come on. Oh, Sir John and half a dozen more are at the door. Shall I let them in?
Let them alone a while and then open the door. Boy!
Anon, sir.
Sarah, Falstaff and the rest of the thieves are at the door. Shall we be married?
As merry as crickets, my lad. But hark ye, what cunning match have you made with this chest of the drawer? Come, what's the issue?
I'm now of all humors that have showed themselves humorous since the days of good man Adam to this pupil age, this present 12 o'clock at midnight. What's o'clock, Francis?
Anon, sir.
Whatever this fellow should have fewer words than a parrot, and yet the son of a woman. His industry is upstairs and downstairs. His eloquence the parcel of a reckoning. I am not yet of Percy's mind. This Hotspur of the North. He that kills me some 6 or 7 dozen of Scots at a breakfast, washes his hands and says to his wife, "Fie upon this quiet life, I want work." "Oh, my sweet Harry," says she, "how many hast thou killed today?" "Give our own horse a drench," says he, and answers, "Some 14. An hour after, a trifle. I prithee, call in Falstaff. I'll play Percy, and that damned Brawn shall play Dame Mortimer, his wife. Hello, cries the drunkard. Call in Ridge. Call in Tallow.
Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
Plague of all cowards, I say, and a vengeance too, merry and amen. Give me a cup of sack. Ere I lead this life long, I'll sew nether stocks and mend 'em and foot 'em too. Give me a cup of sack, you rogue! Is there no virtue extant?
Didst thou never see Titan kiss a dish of butter? Pitiful-hearted butter that melted at the sweet tail of the sun. If thou didst, then behold that compound.
You rogue! There's lime in this sack, too! There's nothing but roguery to be found in villainous man. Yet a coward is worse than a cup of sack with lime in it. A villainous coward. There, go thy ways, old Jack. Die when thou wilt. If manhood, good manhood, be not forgot upon the face of the earth, then am I a shot and herring. There live not 3 good men unhanged in England. One of them is fat and grows old. God help the while, a bad world, I say. I would I were a weaver, I could sing psalms or anything. A plague of all cowards, I say still.
How now, Woolsack, what mutter you?
A king's son! If I do not beat thee out of thy kingdom with a dagger of lath and send all thy subjects before thee like a flock of wild geese, I'll never wear hair on my face more. You Prince of Wales!
Why, you horse-on-round man, what's the matter?
Are not you a coward? Answer me to that. And points there.
Zounds, you fat paunch, and you call me coward? By the Lord, I'll stab you.
I call thee coward. I'll see thee damned ere I call thee coward. I give 1,000 pounds, I could run as fast as thou canst. You're straight enough in the shoulders, you care not who sees your back. Call you that backing your friends? A plague of such backing. Give me them that'll face me. Give me a cup of sack. I'm a rogue if I drunk today.
Oh, villain, my lips are scarce white since thou drunkst last.
All's one for that. A plague of all cowards, I say still.
Why, what's the matter?
What's the matter? There be 4 of us have ta'en 1,000 pounds this day morning.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? Taken from us it is. 100 upon poor 4 of us.
What, 100, man?
I'm a rogue if I were not at half sword with a dozen of them 2 hours together. I've escaped by miracle. I'm thrust 8 times through the doublet, 4 through the hose, my buckler cut through and through, my sword hacked like a handsaw. Ecce signum. I've never dealt better since I was a man. All would not do. A plague of all cowards. Well, let them speak. If they speak more or less than truth, they're villains and the sons of darkness.
Speak, sirs, how was it?
We 4 set upon some dozen.
16 at least, my lord.
And bound?
No, they were not bound. You rogue, they were bound, every man of them, or I'm a Jew, else an Hebrew Jew.
As we were sharing, some 6 or 7 fresh men set upon us.
And unbound the rest, and then come in the others.
What, fought you with them all?
All? I know not what you call all. But if I fought not with 50 of them, I'm a bunch of ratties. If there were not 3 or 4 and 50 upon poor old Jack, then am I no 2-legged creature.
Oh, pray God you've not murdered some of them.
That's past praying for. I've peppered 2 of them. 2 of them I'm sure I paid. 2 rogues in buckram suits. I tell thee what. If I tell thee lie, spit in my face and call thee horse. Thou knowest my old ward. Here I lay. Thus I bore my point. 4 rogues in buckram that drive at me.
What, 4? Thou saidst but 2 even now.
4, hell, I told thee 4.
Aye, he said 4.
These 4 came all afront and mainly trusted me, and I made me no more at 2, but took all their 7 points upon my target thus.
What, 7? Why, there were but 4 even now.
In buckram?
Aye, 4 in buckram suits.
7 by these hilts, or I'm a villain else.
Prithee, let him alone. We shall have more anon.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for 'tis worth the listening to. These 9 I spoke about.
Oh, 2 more already.
Their points being broken.
Down fell their hose.
Began to give some ground. But I followed me close and came in foot in hand with a thought. 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous. 11 buckram men grown out of 2.
But as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendall Green came at my back and let drive at me. And when I was so dark, Hal, thou couldst not see thy hand.
These wives are like the father that begets them, gross as a mountain, open and palpable. Why, thou clay-brained guts, thou naughty-pated fool, thou whoreson, obscene, greasy tallow catch.
What, art thou mad? Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
How couldst thou know these men in Kendall Green when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand? Come, Jack, what's your reason? What say you to this?
Your reason, Jack, your reason.
What, upon compulsion? Zounds, an hour is the strappata were all the racks in the world. I'd not tell you on compulsion. Give you my reason upon compulsion. If reasons were as plentiful as blackberries, I'd give no man reason upon compulsion.
I'll be no longer guilty of this sin. This sanguine coward, this bed presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh.
Blood, you starveling, you elfskin, you dried neat stung, you bull's pizzle, you stockfish. Oh, for breath to utter what is like thee. Thou tailor's yard, you tuck, you vile standing tuck.
Well, drink a while and do it again. And when thou hast tired thyself with these base comparisons, hear me speak but this.
Mark, Jack.
We too saw you four set on four, and you bound them and were masters of their wealth. Mark now how a plain tale shall put you down. Then did we too set on you four, and with a word outfaced you from your prize and have it. Yea, it can show it you here in the house. And thou, Falstaff, carried thy guts away as nimbly and with as quick dexterity, and roared for mercy, and still ran and roared as ever I heard bullcat. What a slave art thou to hack thy sword as thou hast done, and say it was in fight. What trick, what starting hole, what device canst thou now find out to hide thee from this open and apparent shame?
Come, let's hear, Jack. What trick hast thou now?
By the Lord, I knew you as well as he that made you. Well, here you, my masters. Was it for me to kill the heir apparent? Should I turn upon the true prince? Why, thou knowest I'm as valiant as Hercules. But beware instinct. The lion will not touch the true prince. I was now a coward on instinct. I shall think the better of myself and thee during my life. I for a valiant lion, thou for a brave prince. But by the Lord's lads, I'm glad you have the money. Hostess, clap to the doors. Watch tonight, pray no more. Gallants, lads, boys, hearts of gold, all the titles of good fellows shall be with you. What, shall we be merry? Shall we have a play extempore?
Content, and the argument shall be thy running away.
No more of that, Helen, you love me.
Yes, you belong to Prince.
Hey, my lady the hostess, what sayst thou to me?
Nay, my lord, there's a nobleman at the court door would speak with you. He says he comes from your father.
Give him as much as will make him a royal man, and send him home again to my mother.
What manner of man is he?
No, man.
What doth gravity out of his bed at midnight? Shall I give him his answer?
What do they do, Jack?
Faith, I'll send him packing.
Now, sirs, my lady, you fought fair. So did you, Peter. So did you, Bardolph. You're lions, too. You ran away upon instinct. You'll not touch the true prince, no. Fine.
Faith, I ran when I saw others run.
Faith, tell me now in earnest, how came Falstaff's sword so hacked?
I hacked it with his dagger. And he said he would swear tooth out of England, but he would make you believe it was done in fight. And he persuaded us to do the like. Yea, and to pick our noses with spear grass to make 'em bleed. And beslubber our garments with it. And swear it was the blood of honest men. I did that I did not 7 years before. I blush to hear his monstrous devices.
Oh, villain! Thou stolest a cup of sack 18 years ago, and were so taken with a manner that ever since thou hast blushed extempore. Thou hadst fire and sword on thy side, and yet thou rannest away. What instinct hadst thou for it?
My lord, do you see these meteors? Do you behold these exhalations?
I do.
What think you they portend?
Hot livers and cold purses.
Call them, my lord, if rightly taken.
Oh, if rightly taken. Halter. Here comes Lean Jack. Here comes Barebone. How now, my sweet creature of bombast? Tell me, Jack, how long is to go since thou sawest thine own knee?
My own knee? When I was about thy years, Hal, I was not an eagle's talon about the waist. I could have crept into an alderman's thumb ring. Plague upon this sighing and grief. It blows a man up like a bladder. There's villainous news abroad. Here was Sir John Bracy from your father. You must to the court in the morning. That same mad fellow of the north, Percy, and he of Wales, that gave a mammon the bastinado, made loose of a cuckold, swore the devil he's true liegeman on a cross of a Welsh hook. What the plague call you him?
Oh, Glendower.
Owen, the same. And his son-in-law, Mortimer, and old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, Douglas, that rides a horseback up a hill perpendicular.
He that rides at high speed and with his pistol kills a sparrow flying.
You hit it.
So did he never, the sparrow.
Well, that rascal hath good mettle in him. He will not run.
What a villain art thou then to praise him so for running?
A horseback, you cuckoo, but afoot he will not budge your foot.
Yes, Jack, on instinct.
Ha ha, grant you, on instinct. Well, he is there and one more dink and 1,000 blue caps more. Worcester is stolen away tonight. Thy father's beard is turned white with the news. You may buy land now as cheap as stinking mackerel.
Why, then, 'tis like if there come a hot June and the civil buffeting hold, we shall buy maidenheads as they buy a hobnail by the hundred.
By the mass, lad, I say it's true. It is like we should have good trading that way. But tell me, Hal, art thou not horribly afeard? Thou being heir apparent, could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as that fiend Douglas, that spirit Percy, and that devil Glendower? Art thou not horribly afeard? Doth not thy blood thrill at it?
Not a whit, of faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou would be horribly chid in the morning when thou comes to thy father. If thou love me, practice an answer.
Do thou stand for my father and question me on the particulars of my life.
Shall I? Content. This chair shall be my state, this scepter, this dagger my scepter, and this cushion my crown.
Thy state is taken for a joint stool, thy golden scepter for a leaden dagger, and thy precious rich crown for a pitiful bald crown.
If the fire of grace be not quite out of you, now shall you be moved. Give me a cup of sack to make my eyes look red, that it may be thought I have wept. For I must speak in passion, and I will do it in King Cambyses' vein.
Well, here is my leg.
And here's my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
Oh, this is excellent sport.
Weep not, sweet queen, for trickling tears of day. For God's sake, lords, convey my tristful queen, for tears do stop the floodgates of her eyes.
Oh, Jacob, he doesn't just like one of these oratory players as ever are.
Peace, good pint pot, peace, good ticklebraid. Harry, I do not only marvel at where thou spendst thy time, but how thou art accompanied. For though the chamomile, the more 'tis trod upon, the faster it grows, yet youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. That thou art my son, I have partly thy mother's word, partly my own opinion. But chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye, and a foolish drooping of thy nether lip that doth warrant me. If then thou be son to me, here lies the point. Why, being son to me, art thou so pointed at? Shall the blessed Son of Heaven prove a mitcher and eat blackberries? A question not to be asked. Shall the blessed Son of England prove a thief and take purses? A question to be asked. There is a thing, Harry, which thou hast often heard of, and which is known to many in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile. So doth the company thou keepest. And Harry, now I do not speak to thee in drink, but in tears. Not in pleasure, but in passion. Not in words only, but in woes also. And yet, there is a virtuous man that I've often noted in thy company, though I know not his name.
What manner of man, and it like your majesty?
A goodly, portly man, i' faith, and a corpulent, with a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage. And as I think his years some 50, or by Our Lady inclining to 80. And now I remember me, his name is Falstaff. If that man should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me. For Harry, I see virtue in his looks. Then, if the tree be known by the fruit as the fruit by the tree, then peremptorily I speak it, there is virtue in that Falstaff. Him keep with, the rest banish. Now tell me, thou naughty varlet, Tell me where thou hast been this month.
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Depose me? If thou dost it half so gravely, so majestically, both in word and in matter, hang me up by the heels for a rabbit sucker or a poulter's head.
Well, here I am set.
And here stand I. Judge, my masters.
Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord, from East Cheap.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they're false. Nay, I'll take you for a young prince.
Swearest thou, ungracious boy? Henceforth ne'er look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. There is a devil haunts thee in the likeness of a fat old man. A ton of man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humors, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that swollen parcel of dropsies, that stuffed cloak bag of guts, that huge bombarded sack, that roasted Manningtree ox with a pudding in his belly, that father ruffian, that reverend vice, that grey iniquity? Wherein is he good? But to taste sack and drink it. Wherein neat and cleanly, but to carve a capon and eat it. Wherein cunning, but in craft. Wherein crafty, but in villainy. Wherein villainous, but in all things. Wherein worthy, but in nothing.
Hi, would your lord would take me with you? Whom means your grace?
That villainous, abominable misleader of youth, Falstaff. That old white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than in myself, or to say more than I know, that he is old, the more's the pity. His white hairs do witness it. But that he is, saving your reverence, a whoremaster, that I utterly deny. If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many an old host I know is damned. If to be fat is to be hated, then Pharaoh's lean kine are to be loved. No, my noble lord, banish Peto, banish Bardolph, banish Poins, but for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, a valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant being as he is, old Jack Falstaff. Banish not him, thy Harry's company, banish not him, thy Harry's company, banish plump Jack and banish all the world.
I will.
My lord, the sheriff and the most monstrous watches at the door.
Out, sheriff, play out the play. I have much to say on behalf of that Falstaff.
Hey, the devil rides on a fiddlestick. What's the matter?
Oh, the sheriff and all the watchers at the door that come to search the house. Should I miss them?
Do you hear me, Hal? Never call a true piece of gold a counterfeit. Thou art essentially mad without seeming so.
And thou a natural coward without instinct.
I deny your major. If you will deny the sheriff, so. If not, let him enter. Oh. If I do not become a cart as well as another, a plague upon my bringing up. I hope I shall as soon be strangled with a halter as another.
Go hide thee behind the arras. The rest walk up above. Now, sirs, for a good face and true conscience.
Both of which I have had, but their date is out, so I'll hide me.
Call in the sheriff. Well, Master Sheriff, what's your will with me?
First, pardon me, my lord. A hue and cry hath followed certain men unto this house.
What men?
One of them is well known, my gracious lord. A gross fat man.
This fat was but.
Oh, man, I do assure you is not here, for I myself have at this time employed him. But, Sheriff, I do engage my word to thee that by tomorrow dinner time I shall send him to answer thee or any man for anything he shall be charged withal. And so let me entreat you leave the house.
I will, my lord. There are two gentlemen have in this robbery lost 300 marks.
It may be so. If he have robbed them, he shall be answerable. And so farewell.
Good night, my lord.
I think it is good morrow, is it not?
Indeed, my lord. I think it be 2 o'clock.
Yes. This oily rascal is known as well as Paul's. Go, call him forth.
Paul's down! Fast asleep behind the arras and snoring like a horse.
Hark how hard he fetches breath. Go, search his pockets. What hast thou found?
Nothing but papers, my lord.
Well, let's see what they may be. Read them.
Item a capon, 2 shillings 2pence. Item sauce, 4pence. Item sack, 2 gallons, 5 shillings 8pence. Item anchovies and sack after supper, 2 shillings 6pence. Item bread, farthing.
Oh, monstrous! But 1 halfpenny worth of bread to this intolerable deal of sack. What there is else, keep close. We'll read it at more advantage. I must to the court in the morning. We must all to the wars. And thy place shall be honorable. I'll procure this fat rogue a charge of foot. I know his death would be a march of 12 score. The money will be paid back with advantage. Be with me betimes in the morning, and so good morrow, Peter.
Good morrow, good my lord.
These promises are fair. The parties sure and our induction full of prosperous hope.
Lord Mortimer, Cousin Glendower, will you sit down? And Uncle Weston, plague upon it, I forgot the map.
No, here it is. Sit, Cousin Percy. Sit, good Cousin Hotspur. For by that name, as oft as Lancaster doth speak of you, his cheek looks pale, and with a rising sigh, he wisheth you in heaven.
And you in hell, as oft as he is Owen Glendower spoke of.
I cannot blame him. At my nativity, the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes, of burning cressets. And at my birth, the frame and huge foundation of the earth shaked like a coward.
Why, so it would have done at the same season if your mother's cat had but kitten, though yourself had never been born.
I say the earth did shake when I was born.
And I say the earth was not of my mind, if you suppose as fearing you it should.
The heavens were all on fire, the earth did tremble.
Why then the earth did shake to see the heavens on fire, and not in fear of your nativity. Disease of nature oftentimes breaks forth in strange eruptions. Oft the teeming earth is with a kind of colic, pinched and vexed, with the imprisoning of unruly wind within her womb, which, for enlargement striving, shakes the old bell-down earth, and topples down steeples and moss-grown towers. At your birth, our grandam earth, having his test temperature and passion shook.
Cousin, of many men I do not bear these crossings. Give me leave once again to tell you that at my birth the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes. The goats ran from the mountains. The herds were strangely clamorous to the frighted fields. These signs have marked me extraordinary, and all the courses of my life do show I am not in the role of common men. Where is he living? Clipped in by the sea that chides the banks of England, Scotland, Wales, which calls me pupil or hath read to me, and bring him out that is but woman's son, can trace me in the tedious ways of art, or hold me pace in deep experiments.
I think there's no man speaks. Get a wench on to dinner.
Peace, Cousin Percy. You will make him mad.
I can call spirits from the vasty deep.
Why, so can I, or so can any man. But will they come when you do call for them?
Why, cousin, I can teach you to command the devil.
And I can teach thee, cousin, to shame the devil by telling truth. Tell truth and shame the devil. If thou hast power to raise him, bring him hither. And I'll be sworn I have power to shame him hence. Go while you live, tell truth and shame the devil.
Come, let's have no more of this unprofitable chat.
3 times hath Henry Bolingbroke made head against my power, and thrice from the banks of Wye and Sandy Bottom Severn have I sent him bootless on and weather beaten back.
Home without boots, and in foul weather too. I'll escape the agues in the devil's name.
Hey!
Come. Here's the map. Shall we divide our right according to our threefold order ta'en?
The Archdeacon hath divided it into 3 limits very equally. England from Trent and Severn hitherto by south and east is to my part assigned. All westward, Wales beyond the Severn shore, and all the foothold land within that bound to Owen Glendower. And, dear coz, to you the remnant northward, lying off from Trent. And our indentures tripartite are drawn, which be and sealed interchangeably a business that this night may execute. Tomorrow, Cousin Percy, you and I and my good Lord of Worcester will set forth to meet your father in the Scottish power as is appointed us at Shrewsbury. My father, Glendower, is not ready yet, nor shall we need his help these 14 days. Within that space you may have drawn together your tenants, friends, and neighboring gentlemen.
A shorter time shall send me to you, lords. And in my conduct shall your ladies come, from whom you now must steal and take no leave. for there will be a world of watershed upon the parting of your wives and you.
Methinks my moiety, note from Burton here, in quantity equals not one of yours. See how this river comes me cranking in and cuts me from the best of all my land? A huge half moon, a monstrous candle out. I'll have the currents in this place dammed up, and here the smug and silver trench shall run on a new channel fair and evenly. It shall not wind with such a deep indent to rob me of so rich a bottom here.
Not wind, it shall, it must, you see it done.
Hey, but mark how he bears his chorus and runs me up with like advantage on the other side. Gouting the opposite continent as much as on the other side it takes from you.
Yea, but a little charge will trench him here, and on this north side win this cape of land, and then he runs straight and even. Now have it so, a little charge will do it.
I'll not have it altered.
Not you.
No, no, you shall not.
Who shall say me?
Why, will I?
Let me not understand you, then speak it well.
I can speak English as well as you, Lord. For I was trained up in the English court, where being but young I framed to the harp many an English ditty lovely well, and gave the tongue a helpful ornament, a virtue that was never seen in you.
Mary, and I'm glad of it with all my heart. I'd rather be a kitten and cry new than one of these same meter ballad mongers. I'd rather hear a brazen candlestick turn or a dry wheel break down an axle tree, and that would set my teeth nothing on edge, nothing so much as mincing poetry. 'Tis like the fourth gate of a shuffling nag.
Come, you shall have Trent turned.
I do not care. I'll give thrice so much land to any well-deserving friend. In the way of a bargain, mark to me, I'll cavil on the ninth part of a hair. Are the indentures drawn? Shall we be gone?
The moon shines fair. You may away by night. I'll haste the writer, and withal break with your wives of your departure hence. I am afraid my daughter will run mad, so much she doteth on her Mortimer.
My cousin Percy, how you cross my father.
I cannot choose. Sometimes he angers me of telling me of the moldwarp and the ant, of the dream of Merlin and his prophecies, of a dragon and a finless fish, a clipped-winged griffin and a molting raven, a couching lion and a ramping cat, and such a deal of skimble-scamble stuff as puts me from my faith. I tell you what, he held me last night at least 9 hours, and reckoning up the several devils' names that were his lackeys. I cried hum, and well go to, and marked him not a word. Oh, he's as tedious as a tired horse, a railing wife, worse than a smoky house. I'd rather live with cheese and garlic and feed on cates and have him talk to me in a summer house in Christendom.
In faith, he is a worthy gentleman, exceedingly well read and profited in strange concealment, valiant as a lion and wondrous affable, and bountiful as mines of India. Shall I tell you, cousin, he holds your temper in high respect, and curbs himself even of his natural scope when you do cross his humor. Faith he does. I warrant you that man is not alive might so have tempted him as you have done without the taste of danger and reproof. But do not use it oft. Let me entreat you.
In faith, my lord, you are too willful blade, and since your coming hither have done enough to put him quite beside his patience. You must needs learn, Lord, to amend this fault. For though sometimes it shows courage, grace, blood, and that's the dearest grace it renders you, yet oft times it doth present harsh rage, lack of manners, want of government, pride, haughtiness, opinion, disdain, the least of which, haunting a nobleman, loseth men's hearts, and leaves behind a stain upon the beauty of all parts besides, beguiling them of commendation.
Well, I am schooled. Good manners be your speed. Here comes our wives, and let us take our leave.
She's desperate here. A peevy, self-willed harlotry, one that no persuasion can do good upon.
Pidu.
This is the deadly spite that angers me. My wife can speak no English, I know Welsh.
My daughter weeps. She'll not part with you. She'll be a soldier too, she'll to the wars.
Good father, tell her that she and my sister Percy shall follow in your conduct speedily.
Na, Piduca don't. Sever Cali, Fadbel, Mortimer.
No, Piduca me.
I understand thy looks. That pretty Welsh which thou pourest down from these welling heavens I am too perfect in.
and but for shame in such a parley would I answer you.
Piducha sveltna, piducha.
I understand thy kisses and thou mine, and that's a feeling disputation. But I shall never be a truant love till I have learned thy language. Thy tongue makes Welsh as sweet as ditties highly penned, sung by a fair queen in a summer's bower, with ravishing division to her lute.
Nay, if you melt, then will she run mad.
Piducha sveltna, deochi vicariat, vicania himidihi, deuch nal kerethakiski.
Oh, I am ignorance itself in this. She bids you on the wanted rushes lay you down, and rest your gentle head upon her lap, and she will sing the song that pleaseth you, and on your eyelids crown the god of sleep, making such difference twixt night and day as a difference betwixt wake and sleep.
With all my heart I'll sit and hear her sing. By that time will our book, I think, be drawn.
Do so. And those musicians that shall play to you hang in the air 1,000 leagues from hence, and straight they shall be here. Sit and attend.
Come, Kate, thou art perfectly lined out. Come, quick, quick, that I may lay my head in thy lap.
Go, ye giddy goose.
Now, I perceive the damn devil understands Welsh. It is no marvel he's so humorous. My lady, he's a good musician.
Then should you be nothing but musical, for you're altogether governed by humors. Lie still, ye thief, and hear the lady sing in Welsh.
I'd rather hear lady my bitch howl in Irish.
So have thy head broken?
No.
Then be still.
Neither. 'Tis a woman's fault.
Now God help thee.
To the Welsh lady's bed.
What's that?
Peace. Say. Come, Kate, I'll have your song too.
Not mine, in good sooth.
Not yours, in good sooth. Can't you swear like a contemplator's wife? Not you, in good sooth. And as true as I live, and as God shall mend me, and as sure as day, and make such sartinate surety for thy oath as if thou never walked further than Finsbury. Swear me, Kate, like a lady as thou art, a good mouth-filling oath, and leave in sooth and such protest of pepper gingerbread to velvet gods and Sunday citizens. Come, sing.
I will not sing.
There's the next way to turn tailor or be redbreast teacher. And the intentions be drawn, I will away within these 2 hours. And so, come in when you will.
Come, come, Lord Mortimer. You are as slow as hot Lord Percy is on fire to go. By this our book is drawn. We'll bit seal, and then to horse, immediately.
With all my heart.
Deuch ma! Biduch ha min cariat! Biduch!
Lords, give us leave. Prince of Wales and I must have some private conference. But be near at hand, for we shall presently have need of you. I know not whether God will have it so for some displeasing service I have done. that in his secret doom out of my blood he'll breed revengements and a scourge for me. But thou dost in thy passages of life make me believe that thou art only marked for the hot vengeance and the rod of heaven to punish my mistreadings. Tell me, else could such inordinate and low desires, such bare, such poor, such lewd, such mean attempts, such barren pleasures, rude societies thou art matched withal and grafted to, accompany the greatness of thy blood and hold their level with thy princely heart?
So please your majesty, I would I could quit all offences with as clear excuse as I am sure I can purge myself of many I am charged withal. Yet such extenuation let me beg, as in reproof of many tales devised by smiling pig-thanks and base newsmongers. I may for some things true, wherein my youth hath faulty, wandered, and irregular, find pardon on my true submission.
God pardon thee. Yet let me wonder, Harry, at thy affections, to hold a wing quite from the flight of all thy ancestors. Thy place in council thou hast rudely lost, which by thy younger brother is supplied, and art an alien almost to all the hearts of all the court and princes of my blood. The open expectation of thy time is ruined, and the soul of every man prophetically do forethink thy fall. Had I so lavish of my presence been, so common hackneyed in the eyes of men, so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown had still kept loyal to possession, and left me in reputeless banishment a fellow of no mark, no likelihood. By being seldom seen, I could not stir, but like a comet I was wondered at, that men would tell their children, this is he. Others would say, where? Which is Bolingbroke? The skipping king, he ambled up and down with shallow jesters and rash bavin wit, soon kindled and soon burnt, guarded his state, mingled his royalty with capering fools, grew a companion to the common streets, infifed himself to popularity, and in that very line, Harry, stands thou.
I shall hereafter, my thrice gracious lord, be more myself.
For all the world as thou art to this hour was Richard then when I from France set foot at Ravensburg. And even as I was then is Percy now. Now, by my sceptre and my soul to boot, he hath more worthy interest to the state than thou, the shadow of succession. For of no right, nor colour like to right, he doth fill fields with harness in the realm, turns head against the lion's armed jaws, and being no more in debt to years than now, leads ancient lords and reverend bishops on to bruising battles and to bloody arms. What never-dying honour hath he got against renowned Douglas, whose high deeds, whose hot incursions and great name in arms holds from all soldiers chief majority and military title capital through all the kingdoms that acknowledge Christ? Thrice hath this Hotspur, Mars in swaddling clothes, this infant warrior in his enterprises discomfited great Douglas. Ta'en him once, enlarged him, and made a friend of him to fill the mouth of deep defiance up and shake the peace and safety of our throne. And what say you to this? Percy Northumberland, the Archbishop's Grace of York, Douglas Mortimer capitulate against us and are up. But wherefore do I tell these news to thee? Why, Harry, do I tell thee of my foes that art my nearest and dearest enemy? Thou that art like enough through vassal fear, base inclination, and the start of spleen to fight against me, under Percy's pay, to dog his heels and curtsy at his fronts to show how much thou art degenerate.
Do not think so. You shall not find it so. And God forgive them that so much have swayed your majesty's good thoughts away from me. I will redeem all this on Percy's head, and in the closing of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son, when I will wear a garment all of blood and stain my favors in a bloody mask, which washed away shall scour my shame with it. And that shall be the day, whene'er it lights, that this same child of honor and renown, this gallant Hotspur, this all-praised knight, and your unthought of Harry chance to meet. For every honor sitting on his helm would there were multitudes, and on my head my shame's redoubled. For the time will come that I shall make this northern youth exchange his glorious deeds for my indignities, and I shall call him to so strict account that he shall render every glory up, yea, even the slightest worship of his time, or I will tear the reckoning from his heart. This in the name of God I promise here. to which if he be pleased I shall perform. I do beseech your majesty may salve the long-grown wounds of my intemperance. If not, the end of life cancels all bands, and I will die 100,000 deaths ere break the smallest parcel of this vow.
100,000 rebels die in this. Thou shalt have trust. Sovereign charge herein. How now, good blunt, thy looks are full of speed.
So hath the business that I come to speak of. A noble lord of Scotland hath sent word that Douglas and the English rebels met the 11th of this month at Shrewsbury. A mighty and fearful head they were, if promises are kept on every side, as ever offered foul play in a state.
The Earl of Westmoreland set forth today, with him my son, Lord John of Lancaster, for this advertisement is 5 days old. On Wednesday next, Harry, you shall set forward. On Thursday we ourselves will march. And Harry, you shall march through Gloucestershire. Our hands are full of business. Let's away. Advantage feeds him fat while men delay.
Haven't I fallen off fireless since this last action? Do I not bake? Do I not dwindle? My skin hangs about me like an old lady's loose gown. I'm withered like an old apple, John. Well, I'll repent, and that suddenly, while I'm in some liking. For I shall be out of heart shortly, and then I'll have no strength to repent. If I've not forgotten what the inside of a church is made of, I'm a peppercorn, a brewer's horse. The inside of a church. Company, villainous company, hath been the spoil of me.
Sir John, you're so fretful you cannot live long.
There it is. Sing me a bawdy song, make me merry. And then I was a tiny little boy with a hey-ho. I was virtuously given as a gentleman need to be. Virtuous enough. Dice not above 7 times a week. Went to a bawdy house not above once in a quarter of an hour. Paid money that I borrowed 3 or 4 times. Lived well and in good compass. Now I live out of all order, out of all compass.
You're so fat, Sir John, you must needs be out of compass, out of all reasonable compass.
Do thou amend thy face, and I'll amend my life. Thou art our admiral. Thou bearest the lantern in the poop, but 'tis in the nose of thee. Thou art the knight of the burning lamp.
Why, Sir John, my face does you no harm.
No, I'll be sworn. I make as much use of it as many a man does a death's head or a memento mori. I never see thy face but what I think on hellfire and dives that lived in purple, for there he is in his robes, burning. If thou wert in any way given to virtue, I would swear by thy face. My oath should be by this fire that's God's angel. But thou art altogether given over, and wert indeed but for this light in thy face, the sun of everlasting darkness. When thou rannest up the hill in the night to catch my horse, if I did not think thee an igneous fatuous or a ball of wildfire, there's no purchase in money. Oh, thou art a perpetual triumph, an everlasting bonfire light. Thou hast saved me 1,000 marks and links and torches, walking with thee in the night betwixt tavern and tavern. But the sack that thou hast drunk would have bought me light as good cheap at the dearest chandler's in Europe. I have kept that salamander in yours with fire this 22 years. God reward me for it.
Blood, I would my face were in your belly.
God have mercy. Then should I be sure to be heartburned. How now, Dame Partlet the hen? Have you inquired yet who picked my pocket?
Why, Sir John, what do you think, Sir John? Do you think I keep thieves in my house? I've searched, I've inquired, so's my husband. Man by man, boy by boy, servant by servant. The tide of a hair was never lost in my house before.
Oh, sis, you lie. Bardoff was shaved and lost many a hair. Now I'll be sworn my pocket was picked. Go to, you're a woman, go.
Why, no, I defy thee, God's light. I was never called so in mine own house before.
Go to, I know you well enough.
Oh, no, Sir John. You do not know me, Sir John. I know you, Sir John. You owe me money, Sir John, and now you pick a quarrel to beguile me of it. I I bought you a dozen shirts to your back.
Ah, dowless, filthy dowless. I've given them away to bakers' wives, and they've made bolters of them.
Oh, now as I'm a true woman linen of 8 shillin' an ale. Oh, and you owe money here besides, Sir John, for your diet and by drinkings, and money lets you £24.
He had his part of it, let him pay.
Oh, he, alas, he is poor, he hath nothing.
How, poor? Look upon his face. What call you rich? Let them coin his nose, let them coin his cheeks. I'll not pay a tenure. What, would you make a younker of me? Shall I not take my knees and mine in, but I shall have my pocket picked? I lost a seal ring of my grandfather's worth 40 marks.
Oh, Jesu, I heard the prince tell him I know not how oft that ring was copper.
The prince is a jack, a sneak up. And he were here, I'd cudgel him like a dog, and he should say so. Oh, how now, lad? How's the wind in that door of faith? Must we all march?
Yea, 2 and 2.
Nougat fashion.
My lord, I pray you hear.
Oh, now, my lady the hostess, what sayest thou to me? How doth thy husband? I love him well, he is an honest man.
Let her alone and list to me.
What sayest thou, Jack?
The other night, I fell asleep behind the arras here and had my pocket picked. This house is turned bawdy house. They pick pockets.
What didst thou lose, Jack?
Would you believe me, Hal? 3 or 4 bond of £40 apiece, and a seal ring of my grandfather.
Oh, trifle, some 8-penny matter.
So I told him, my lord, and I said I heard your grace say so. And my lord, he speaks most vilely of you like a foul-mouthed man as he is, and said he would cudgel you.
What? He did not.
Oh, there's neither faith, truth, nor womanhood in me, eh?
There's no more faith in thee than in a stewed prune. No more truth in thee than in a drawn fox. And as for womanhood, Maid Marian bade me the deputy's wife of the ward to thee. Go, you thing, go.
What thing? What thing?
What thing? Why, a thing to thank God on.
Oh, I am no thing to thank God on. I would thou shouldst know it. I am an honest man's wife, and setting thy now to decide, thou art a knave to call me so.
Setting thy womanhood aside, thou art a beast to say otherwise.
Say, what beast, thou knave, lad?
What beast? Why, an otter.
An otter, Sir John? Why an otter?
Why, she's neither fish nor flesh. A man knows not where to have her.
Oh, thou art an unjust man in saying so. Thou or any man knows where to have me, thou knave.
Thou sayest true, hostess, and he slanders thee most grossly.
Oh, so he doth you, my lord, and said this other day you ought him £1,000.
Sarah, do I owe you £1,000?
£1,000, Hal? $1,000,000. Thou owest me thy love. Thy love is worth $1,000,000.
Oh, nay, my lord, he called you Jack and said he would cudgel you.
Did I, Bardolph?
Indeed, Sir John, you said so.
Yeah, if he said my ring were copper.
I say 'tis copper. Darest thou be as good as thy word now?
Why, hell, thou knowest as thou art but man, I dare, but as thou art prince, I fear thee as I fear the roaring of the lion's whelp.
Why not as the lion?
The king himself is to be feared as the lion. Dost thou think I'll fear thee as I fear thy father? Nay, and I do, I pray God my girdle break.
Oh, if it should, how would thy guts fall about thy knees? But, Sarah, there's no room for faith, truth, or honesty in that bosom of thine. It's all filled up with guts and midriff. Charge an honest woman with picking thy pocket. Why, if there were aught in thy pocket but tavern reckonings, memorandums of bawdy houses, and 1 poor pennyworth of sugar candy to make thee long-winded. If thy pocket were enriched with aught but this, I am a villain. And yet you'll stand to it. You'll not pocket up wrong. Art thou not ashamed?
Do you hear me, Hal? Thou knowest in the state of innocency Adam fell. What should poor Jack Falstaff do in the age of villainy? Thou seest I have more flesh than another man, therefore more frailty. You confess then you picked my pocket?
It appears so by the story.
Hostess, I forgive thee. Go, make ready breakfast, love thy husband, look to thy guests, look to thy servants. Thou shalt find me tractable to any honest reason. Thou seest I am pacified still. Nay, prithee be gone. Now, Hal, to the news at court. For the robbery, lad, how is that answered?
Oh, my sweet beef, I must still be good angel to thee. The money is paid back again.
I do not like that paying back. 'Tis a double labor.
I am friends with my father and may do anything.
Then rob me the exchequer the first thing thou dost, and do it with unwashed hands, too.
Do, my lord.
I have procured thee, Jack, a charge of foot.
I would it had been of horse. What shall I do for one that can steal well? For a fine thief of 22 or thereabouts, I am heinously unprovided. Well, God be thanked for these rebels. They offend none but the virtuous. I laud them, I praise them.
Bardo.
My lord.
Go, bear this letter to Lord John of Lancaster, to my brother John. This to my Lord of Westmoreland. Go, Poins, to horse, for thou and I have 30 miles to ride in dinner time. Jack, meet me tomorrow afternoon at Temple Hall at 2 o'clock. There thou shalt receive thy charge and money for their furniture. The land is burning. Percy rides on high. And either we or they must lower lie.
Rare words, brave world. Hostess, my breakfast, come. Oh, I could wish this tavern were my drum.
Well said, my noble Scot. Speaking truth in this fine age will not thought flattery. Such attribution should the Douglas have, as not a soldier of the season's stamp should go so general current through the world. By God, I cannot flatter. I do defy the tongues of soothers. A braver place in my heart's love hath no man than yourself. Nay, task me to my word. Approve me, Lord.
Thou art the king of honor. No man so potent breathes upon the ground that I shall beard him.
Do so, 'tis well. What letters hast thou there? I can but thank you.
These letters come from your father.
Letters from him? Why comes he not himself?
He cannot come, my lord. He is grievous sick.
So is it leisurely sick in such a justling time. Who leads his power? Under whose government come they along?
His letters bear his mind, not I, my lord.
And prithee tell me, doth he keep his bed?
He did, my lord, 4 days ere I set forth. And at the time of my departure hence he was much feared by his physician.
I would the time had first been whole ere he by sickness had been visited. His health was never better worth than now.
Sick now, droop now! This sickness doth infect the very lifeblood of our enterprise. 'Tis catching hither even to our camp. He writes me that inward sickness, and that his friends by deputation could not so soon be drawn, nor did he think it meet to lay so dangerous and dear in trust on any soul removed but on his own. Yet doth he give us bold advertisement that with our small conjunction we should arm, to see how fortune is disposed to us. For as he writes, there is no quailing now, because the king is certainly possessed of all our purposes. What say you to it?
Your father's sickness is amain to his...
The perilous gash, a very limb lopped off. And yet in faith it is not. His present want seems more than we shall find it. Were it good to set the exact wealth of all our states all at one cast, to set so rich a maim on the nice hazard of one doubtful hour, it were not good. For therein should we read the very bottom and the soul of hope, the very list of the very utmost bound of all our fortunes.
And so we should. Where now remains a sweet reversion, we may boldly spend upon the hope of what is to come in. A comfort of retirement lives in this.
A rendezvous, a home to fly unto, unless the devil in this chance looks big upon the maidenhead of our affairs.
But yet, I would your father had been here. The quality and hair of our attempt brooks no division. It will be thought by some that know not why he is away, that wisdom, loyalty, and mere dislike of our proceedings kept the earl from hence. And think how such an apprehension may turn the tide of fearful faction, and breed a kind of question in our cause. For well you know, we of the offering side must keep aloof from strict arbitrament, and stop all cytos, every loop from whence the eye of reason may pry in upon us. This absence of your father's draws a kind of curtain which shows the ignorant of fear before not dreamt of.
You stray too far. I rather of his absence make this use. He lends a lustre and more great opinion, a larger dare to our great enterprise than if the earl were here. For men must think, if we without his help can make a head to push against the kingdom, with his help we shall overturn it topsy-turvy down. Yet all goes well. Yet all our joints are whole.
As heart can think, there is not such a word spoken in Scotland as this term of fear.
My cousin Vernon, welcome by my soul.
Pray God my news be worth the welcome, Lord. The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching hitherwards. With him Prince John.
No harm, what more?
And further I've learned the king himself in person is set forth, or hitherwards intended speedily with strong and mighty preparation.
He shall be welcome too. Where is his son, the nimble-footed madcap Prince of Wales and his comrades, the daft the world aside and been it past.
All finished, all in all. All plumed like ostriches that wing the wind, baited like eagles having lately bathed, glittering in golden coats like images, as full of spirit as the month of May, and gorgeous as the sun at midsummer, wanton as youthful goats, wild as young bulls. I saw young Harry with his beaver on, his cuishes on his thighs, gallantly armed, rise from the ground like feathered Mercury, and vaulted with such ease into his seat as if an angel dropped down from the clouds to turn and wind a fiery Pegasus and witch the world with noble
No
horses.
more! No more! Worse than the sun in March, this praise doth nourish agues. Let them come! They come like sacrifices in their drift, and to the firelight made of smoky war, all hot and bleeding will we offer them. The mailed Mars shall in his altar sit, up to the ears in blood. I am on fire to hear this rich reprisal is so nigh, and yet not ours. Come, let me taste my horse, which will bear me like a thunderbolt against the Prince of Wales. Harry to Harry shall, hot horse to horse, meet and ne'er part, till one drop down a course. Oh, that Glendower will come!
There's more news. I learned in Worcester as I rode along, he cannot draw his power this 14 days.
It's the worst tidings that I hear of yet.
Aye, that bears a frosty sound. What made the king's whole battle reach unto?
30,000.
40 let it be. My father and Glendower being both away, the powers of us may serve so great a day. Come, let us take a muster speedily. Doomsday is near. Die all, die merrily.
Talk not of dying, for I am out of fear of death or death's hand for this 1/2 year.
Get me before the Coventry. Fill me a bottle of sack. Our soldiers shall march through. We're to Sutton Cofield tonight.
Will you give me money, Captain?
Lay out, lay out.
This bottle makes an angel.
And if it do, take it for thy labor. And if it make 20, take them all. I'll answer the coinage. Bid my Lieutenant Peto meet me at town's end.
I will. Farewell, Captain.
If I be not ashamed of my soldiers, I'm a sow's gurnet. I've misused the king's press damnably. I've got an exchange of 150 soldiers, 300 and odd pounds. I press me none but good householders, yeomen's sons. Inquire me out contracted bachelors, such as been asked twice on the bands. Such a commodity of warm slaves as it is leave here the devil as a drum. I press me none but such toasts and butters with hearts in their bellies no bigger than pin's head. And they've bought out their services. And now my whole charge consists of such as indeed were never soldiers, but discarded unjust serving men, younger sons to younger brothers, ostlers, trade-fallen, revolted tapsters, the cankers of a calm world and a long peace. Bad fellow met me on the way, told me I'd unloaded all the gibbets and pressed the dead bodies. No eye hath seen such scarecrows. There's but a shirt and my half in my whole company, and the half shirt, 2 napkins tied together and thrown over the shoulders like a herald's coat without sleeves. And the shirt, to tell the truth, stolen from my host at St. Albans, or the innkeeper of Daventry. That's all one. They'll find linen enough on every head.
How now, Blown Jack? How now, Quill?
Why, hell, how now, Madwig? What a devil is thou in Warwickshire? Cry you mercy, my good ward of Westmoreland. I thought your honor had already been at Shrewsbury.
Faith, Sir John, 'tis more than time that I were there, and you too, but my powers are there already. The king, I can tell you, looks for us all. We must away all tonight.
Fear me not. I'm as vigilant as a cat to steal cream.
I think to steal cream indeed, for thy theft hath already made thee butter. But tell me, Jack, whose fellows are these that come after?
Mine, Hal, mine.
I did never see such pitiful rascals.
Good enough to toss. Food for powder, food for powder. They'll fill a pit as well as a better. Tush, man, mortal men, mortal men.
Aye, but Sir John, methinks they are exceeding poor and bare, too beggarly.
Faith, for their poverty, I know not where they got that. And for their bareness, I'm sure they never learned that of me.
No, I'll be sworn. Unless you call 3 fingers on the ribs bare. But we must away. Percy's already in the field.
What, is the king in camp?
He is, Sir John, and I fear we shall stay too long.
Well, to the latter end of a fray and the beginning of a feast fits a dull fighter and a keen guest.
We'll fight with him tonight!
It may not be.
You give him an advantage?
Not a whit. Why say you so? Looks enough for supply.
So do we.
This is certain, ours is doubtful.
Good cousin, be advised. Stir not tonight.
You do not counsel her. You speak it out of fear and cold heart.
Give me your slander, Douglas, by my life, and I dare well maintain it with my life. I hold as little counsel with weak fear as you, my lord, or any Scot that this day lives. Let it be seen tomorrow on the battle which of us fears.
Yea, or tonight?
Content.
Tonight, say I.
Come, it may not be. I wonder much, being men of such great leading as you are, that you foresee not when impediments drag back our expedition. Certain horse of my cousin Vernon's are not yet come up. Your Uncle Worcester's horse came but today, and now their pride and mettle is asleep. Their courage with hard labor tame and dull, that not a horse is half the half of himself.
So are the horses of the enemy in general journey baited and brought low. The better part of ours are full of rest.
The number of the king exceedeth ours. For God's sake, cousin, stay till all come in.
I come with gracious office from the king, if you vouchsafe me hearing and respect.
Welcome, Sir Walter. And would to God you were of our determination. Some of us love you well. And even though some envy your great deservings and good name, because you are not of our quality, but stand before us like an enemy.
Then God defend, but still I should stand so long as out of limit and true rule you stand against anointed majesty. But to my charge. The king hath sent to know the nature of your griefs, and whereupon you conjure from the breast of civil peace such bold hostility, teaching his duteous land audacious cruelty. If that the king have in any way your good deserts forgot, he bids you name your griefs, and you shall have your desires with interest, and pardon absolute for yourself, and these herein misled by your suggestion.
The king is kind. And well we know the king knows when to promise, when to pay. My father and my uncle and myself did give him that same royalty he wears. And when he was not 26 strong, sick in the world's regard, wretched and low, a poor unminded outlaw sneaking home, my father gave him welcome to the shore. And when he heard him swear and vow to God, he came but to be Duke of Lancaster, to sue his livery and beg his peace. My father, in kind heart and pity moved, swore him assistance, and performed it too. He presently, as greatness knows itself, steps me a little higher than his vow made to my father, while his blood was poured upon the naked shore of Ravensburg, and then forsooth takes on him to reform some certain edicts, and some straight decrees that lie too heavy on the Commonwealth, cries out upon abuses, seems to weep at his country's wrongs, and by this face, this seeming brow of justice, did he win all the hearts that he did angle for. Proceeded further, cut me off all the heads of all the favorites that the absent king and deputation left behind him here, while he was personal in the Irish War.
Tut, I came not to hear this!
Then to the point! In short time after he deposed the king, soon after that deprived him of his life, and in the neck of that task the whole state, to make that worse, summoned our kinsman Mortimer, who is, if every honor were well placed, indeed his king, to be engaged in Wales, there without ransom till I forfeited, disgraced me in my happy victories, sought to entrap me with intelligence, rated mine uncle from the council board, enraged dismissed my father from the court, broke oath on oath, committed wrong on wrong, and in conclusion drove us to seek out this head of safety, and withal to pry into his title, which we find too indirect for long continuance.
Shall I return this answer to the king?
Not so, Sir Walter. We'll withdraw a while. Go to the king, and let there be some surety in pawn for a safe return again, and early in the morning shall mine uncle bring him our purposes, and so farewell.
I would you would accept of grace and love.
And maybe so we shall.
Pray God you do.
Bear this seal brief with winged haste to the Lord Marshal. This to my cousin Scrope, and all the rest to whom they are directed. If you knew how much they do import, you would make haste.
My lord, I guess that tenor.
Like enough you do. Tomorrow, good Sir Michael, is a day wherein the fortune of 10,000 men must bide the touch. For Sir at Shrewsbury, as I am truly given to understand, the king with mighty and quick-raised power meets with Lord Harry. And I fear, Sir Michael, what with the sickness of Northumberland, whose power was in the first proportion, and what with Owen Glendower's absence thence, who with them was a rated sinew too and comes not in, or ruled by prophecies, I fear the power of Percy is too weak to wage an instant trial with the king.
My lord, you need not fear. There is Douglas and Lord Mortimer.
No, Mortimer is not there.
But there is Mordick and Vernon and Lord Harry Percy. And there is yet my lord of Worcester and a host of gallant warriors, noble gentlemen.
And so there is. But yet the king hath drawn the special head of all the land together. The Prince of Wales, Lord John of Lancaster, the noble Westmoreland and warlike Blunt, and many more co-rivals and dear men of estimation and command in arms.
Doubt not, my lord, they shall be well opposed.
I hope no less. Yet needful 'tis to fear, and to prevent the worst Sir Michael's speed. For if Lord Percy thrive not, ere the king dismiss his power, he means to visit us. For he hath heard of our confederacy, and 'tis but wisdom to make strong against him. Therefore make haste.
How bloodily the sun begins to peer above yon busky hill. The day looks pale at his distemperature.
The southern wind doth play the trumpet to his purposes, and by his hollow whistling in the leaves foretells a tempest and a blustering day.
Then with the losers let it sympathize, for nothing can seem foul to those that win. Now, my lord of Worcester, it is not well that you and I should meet upon such terms as now we meet. You have deceived our trust, made us doff our easy robes of peace to crush our old limbs in ungentle steel. It is not well, my lord, it is not well. What say you to it? Will you again unknit this churlish knot of all abhorred war, and move in that obedient orb again where you did give a fair and natural light, and be no more an exhaled meteor, a prodigy of fear and a portent of broached mischief to the unborn times?
Hear me, my liege. For mine own part, I could be content to entertain the lag end of my life with quiet hours, for I do protest, I have not sought the day of this dislike.
You have not sought it? Huh. How comes it then?
Rebellion lay in his way, and he found it.
Peace, Chewett, peace.
It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favor from myself and all our house. And yet I must remember you, my lord. We were the first and dearest of your friends. For you, my staff of office, did I break in Richard's time, and posted day and night to meet you on the way, and kiss your hand, when yet you were in place and in account nothing so strong and fortunate as I. It was myself, my brother and his son, that brought you home, and boldly did outdare the dangers of the time. You swore to us, and you did swear that oath at Doncaster, that you did nothing purpose against the state, nor no further claim than your new foreign right, the seat of Gaunt, dukedom of Lancaster. To this we swore our aid. But in short space, it rained down fortune showering on your head. What with our help, what with the absent king, you took occasion to be quickly wooed, gripped the general sway into your hand, forgot your oath to us at Doncaster, and being fed by us, you used us so that even our love durst not come near your sight. Whereby we stand opposed by such means as you yourself have forged against yourself, by dangerous countenance, unkind usage, and violation of all faith and trust sworn to us in your younger enterprise.
These things indeed you have articulate proclaimed at market crosses, read in churches. To face the government of rebellion.
In both our armies, there's many a soul shall pay full dearly for this encounter if once they join in trial. Tell your nephew, the Prince of Wales doth join with all the world in praise of Henry Percy. By my hopes, this present enterprise set off his head. I do not think a braver gentleman, more active valiant, or more valiant young, more daring or more bold, is now alive to grace this latter age with noble deeds. For my part, I may speak it to my shame, I have a truant been to chivalry. And so I hear he doth account me, too. Yet this, before my father's majesty, I am content that he shall take the odds of his great name and estimation, and will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with him in a single fight.
And, Prince of Wales, so dare we venture thee. Albeit considerations infinite do make against it. No good was to know. We love our people well. Even those we love that are misled upon your cousin's part. And will they take the offer of our grace? Both he and they. And you. Yea, every man shall be my friend, and I'll be his. So tell your cousin, and bring me word what he will do. But if he will not yield, rebuke and dread correction wait on us, and they shall do their office. So be gone. We will not now be troubled with reply. We offer fair. Take it advisedly.
Will not be accepted on my life. The Douglas and the Hotspur both together are confident against the world in arms.
Hence, therefore, every leader to his charge, for on their answer will we set on them. And God befriend us, as our cause is just.
Now, if thou see me down in the battle and bestride me, so 'tis a point of friendship.
Nothing but a colossus could do thee that friendship. Say thy prayers and farewell.
I would 'twere bedtime, Hal, and all well.
Why, thou owest God a death.
'Tis not due yet. I'd be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with one that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Yea, but how if honor prick me off again when I come on? How then? Can honor set a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Honor hath no skill in surgery, then? No. What is honor? A word. What is that word, honor? What is that honor? Air. A trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday. Do they feel it? No. Do they hear it? No. 'Tis insensible, then? Yea, to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No. Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon, and so ends my catechism.
Oh, no. My nephew must not know, Sir Richard, the kind and liberal offer of the king.
For best he did.
Then are we all undone. It is not possible. It cannot be the king should keep his word in loving us. He will suspect us still and find it time to punish this offense and other faults. My nephew's trespass may be well forgot. It hath the excuse of youth, the heat of youth, an adopted name of privilege, a harebrained Hotspur governed by a spleen. All his offenses live on my head and on his father's. His corruption being ta'en from us, we as the spring of all shall pay for all. Therefore, good cousin, let not Harry know in any case the offer of the king.
Deliver what you will, I'll say 'tis so. And here comes your cousin.
My uncle is returned. Deliver up my lord of Westmoreland. Uncle, what news?
The king will bid you battle presently.
Would defy him by the Lord of Westmoreland.
Lord Douglas, go you and tell him so.
Many and shall, and very willingly.
There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any? God forbid.
I told him gently of our grievances, of his oath-breaking, which he mended thus. By now forswearing he is forsworn. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms his hateful name in us.
Arm, gentlemen, to arms, for I have thrown a brave defiance in King Henry's teeth, and Westmoreland, the was engaged, did bear it, which cannot choose but bring him quickly on.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and nephew challenged you to single fight.
Oh, would the quarrel lay upon our heads, and that no man might draw short breath today, save I and Harry Monmouth. Tell me, how showed his tasking? Seemed it in contempt?
No, by my soul. I never in my life did hear a challenge judged more modestly, unless a brother should a brother dare to gentle exercise in proof of arms. He gave you all the duties of a man, trimmed up your praises with a princely tongue, spoke your deservings like a chronicle, making you ever better than his praise, by still dispraising praise valued with you, and, which became him like a prince indeed, he made a blushing sightle of himself, and chid his truant youth with such a grace as if he mastered their double spirit of teaching and of learning instantly. There did he pause. But let me tell the world, if he outlived the envy of this day, England did never owe so sweet a hope, so much misconstrued in his wantonness.
Cousin, I think thou art enamored on his follies. Never did I hear of any prince so wild a libertine. But be he as he will, yet once ere night I will embrace him with a soldier's arm, that he shall shrink under my courtesy. Arm! Arm with speed! And fellows, soldiers, friends! Ha! Better consider what you have to do than I, that have not well the gift of tongue, can lift your blood up with persuasion.
My lord, here are letters for you.
I cannot read them now. Go. Gentlemen, the time of life is short. To spend that shortness basely were too long, if life did ride upon a dial's point, still ending at the arrival of an hour. And if we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us. Now for our consciences the arms are fair, when the intent of bearing them is just.
My lord, prepare, the king comes on apace.
I thank him that he cuts me from my tale, for I profess not talking, only this. Let each man do his best. And here draw I a sword, whose temper I intend to stain with the best blood that I can meet withal in the adventure of this perilous day. Now, Esparts! Percy and Ceylon! Sound all the lofty instruments of war, and by that music let us all embrace. For heaven to earth, some of us never shall a second time do such a courtesy.
Seek upon my head.
Know that I am the Douglas, and I do haunt thee in the battle thus, because some tell me thou art a king.
They tell thee true.
The Lord of Staffordshire today hath bought thy likeness. Instead of thee, King Harry, the sword hath ended him. So shall it be, unless thou yield thee as my prisoner.
I was not born a yielder, thou proud Scot. And in me you shall find a king who will avenge Lord Stafford's death.
Hadst thou fought at home than thus, I never had triumphed upon a Scot.
All's done, all's won. Here breathless lies the king.
This, Douglas? No. I know this face full well. A gallant knight he was. His name was Blunt. Semblably furnished like the king himself.
A fool go with thy soul whither it goes. A borrowed title hast thou bought too dear. Why didst thou tell me thou wert a king?
The king hath many moting in his coat.
By my sword, I'll kill all his coats. I'll murder all his wardrobe piece by piece until I meet the king.
Up and away! Our clothes shall stand for Though I escaped shot free in London, I fear the shot here. Here's no scoring but on the pate. Soft. Who are you? Sir Walter Blunt. There's an honor for you. Here's no vanity. I'm as hot as molten lead. As heavy, too. God keep lead out of me, I need no more weight but mine own bowels.
What, standst thou idle here? I prithee, lend me thy sword. Many a nobleman lies stiff and stark under the hoofs of vaunting enemies whose deaths are unrevenged. Prithee, lend me thy sword.
Oh, hell, give me leave to breathe a while. Turk Gregory never did such deeds in arms as I have done this day. I've paid Percy, I've made him sure.
He is indeed, and living to kill thee. Now, prithee, lend me thy sword.
Nay, before God, Hal, if Percy be alive, you get not my sword. But here, take my pistol, if thou wilt.
What, is it in a case?
Aye, Hal, 'tis hot, 'tis hot. There's that will sack a city.
What, is the time to jest and dally now?
Well, if Percy be alive, I'll pierce him. If he do come in my way, so. If he do not, and I come in his willingly, let him make a carbonado of me. I like not such grinning honor as Sir Walter hath. Give me life, which if I can save, so. If not, honor comes unlooked for, and there's an end.
I prithee, Harry, withdraw thyself. Thou bleedst too much. And Lord John of Lancaster, go you with him.
Not I, my lord, unless I did bleed too.
I pray your lordship, make up, lest your retirement do amaze your friends.
I will do so. My lord of Westmoreland, lead him to his tent.
Come, my lord, I'll lead you to your tent.
Lead me, my lord. I do not need your help. And God forbid a shallow scratch should drive the Prince of Wales from such a field as this is, where stained nobility lies trodden on, and rebels' arms triumph in massacres.
We breathe too long. Come, cousin Westmoreland. Our duty this way lies. For God's sake, come.
By God, thou hast deceived me, Lancaster. I did not think thee, Lord, of such a spirit. Before I loved thee as a brother, John, but now I do respect thee as my soul.
I saw him hold Lord Percy at the point with lustier maintenance than I did look for of such an ungrown warrior.
Oh, this Boylan's metal to us all!
Another king! They grow like Hydra's heads! High on the Douglas, fatal to all those that wear those colors on them. What art thou that counterfeits the person of a king?
The king himself. Who Douglas grieves at heart so many of his shadows thou hast met, and not the very king. I have 2 boys, seek Percy and thyself about the field. But seeing thou fall'st on me so luckily, I will assay thee, so defend thyself.
I fear thou art another counterfeit, and yet thou bearest thee like a king, but mine thou art, whoe'er thou be, and thus I win.
Hold up thy head, vile Scot, and art like never to hold it up again. The spirits of valiant Shirley, Stafford, and Blunt lie in my arms. It is the Prince of Wales who threatens thee, who never promiseth what he means to pay. Surely, my lord, how fares your grace? Sir Nicholas Gawsey hath for succor sent, so hath Clifton. I'll to Clifton straight.
Stay and breathe a while. Thou hast redeemed thy lost opinion, and shalt thou make some tender of my life in this fair rescue thou hast brought to me.
Oh, God, they did me too much injury that ever said I hearkened for your death.
Make up to Clifton, I'll to Sir Nicholas Gawsey.
If I mistake not, thou art Harry Monmouth.
Thou speakst as if I would deny my name.
My name is Harry Percy.
Why, then I see a very valiant rebel of that name. I am the Prince of Wales, and think not, Percy, to share with me in glory any more. 2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England brook a double reign of Henry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry, for the hour is come to end the one of us, and would to God thy name in arms were now as fair as mine.
I'll make it greater ere I part from thee, and all the budding honors on thy crest I'll crop to make a garland for my head.
I can no longer brook thy vanities. Oh, Harry, thou hast robbed me of my youth. I better brook the loss of brittle life, and those proud titles thou hast won of me. They ruin my thoughts worse than thy sword my flesh. But thought's the slave of life, and life time's fool. And time that takes survey of all the world must have a stop. Oh! I could prophesy
but that the earthy cold hand of death lies on my tongue? No! Percy, thou art dust and food for
worms, brave Percy. Fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk, when that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound. But now, 2 cases of the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears thee dead bears not alive so stout a gentleman. Thou art sensible of courtesy, I should not make so dear a show of zeal. But let my favors hide thy mangled face. Adieu. Take thy praises with thee to heaven. Thy ignominy sleep with thee in the grave, but not remembered in thy epitaph. What? Old acquaintance! Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Poor Jack, farewell. I could have better spared a better man. Oh, I should have a heavy miss of thee if I were much in love with vanity. Death hath not struck so fat a deer today, though many dearer in this bloody fray. Embowelled will I see thee by and by. Till then in blood by noble Percy lie.
Embowelled? So embowel me today, I'll give you leave to powder me and eat me too tomorrow. Sounds it was time I counterfeited to that hot Ptarmigan Scot that paid me Scotland lot too. Counterfeit? I lie. I'm no counterfeit. To die is to be a counterfeit, for he is but the counterfeit of a man that hath not the life of a man. But to counterfeit dying when a man thereby liveth is no counterfeit, but the true and perfect image of life indeed. The better part of valor is discretion, in the which better part I've saved my life. Sounds I'm afraid of this gunpowder Percy, though he be dead. What if he should counterfeit too and arise? I'm afraid he'd prove the better counterfeit. Therefore I'll make him sure. Yea, and I'll swear I killed him. Nothing confutes me but eyes, and nobody sees me. Therefore, Sarah, with the new wound in your thigh, come go along with me.
Come, Brother John. Full bravely hast thou fleshed thy maiden sword.
But sir, whom have we here? Did you not tell me that fat man was dead?
I did. I saw him dead, breathless and bleeding on the ground. Speak, sir. We will not trust our eyes without our ears. Thou art not what thou seemst.
Hey, that's true. I'm no double man, but if I be not Jack Falstaff, then am I a Jack. There's Percy. Your father do me any honor, so not let him kill the next Percy himself. I look to be either Earl or Duke, I can assure you.
Percy I killed myself and saw thee dead.
Didst thou? Oh, Lord, Lord, how the world is given to lying. I grant you I was down and out of breath, and so is he. But we rose both at an instant and fought a long hour by Shrewsbury clock. If I may be believed, so. If not, let them that should reward valor bear the sin upon their own heads. I'll take it on my death I gave him this wound in the thigh there. Sounds if the man were alive and denied, I'd make him eat a piece of my sword.
This is the strangest tale that ever I heard.
This is the strangest fellow, Brother John. Come, bring your luggage nobly on your back. For my part, if a lie may do thee any grace, I'll gild it with the happiest terms I have. The trumpet sounds retreat. The day is ours. Come, Brother John, to the highest of the field, to see which friends are living, who are dead.
Well, I'll follow, as they say, for reward. Him that rewards me, God reward him. If I do grow great, I'll grow less. For I'll purge and leave sack, and live cleanly as a gentleman should do.
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke. Ill-spirited Worcester, did we not send grace, pardon, and terms of love to all of you? And wouldst thou turn our office contrary, misuse the tenor of thy kinsman's trust? 3 knights upon our party slain today, a noble earl and many a creature else had been alive this hour. If like a Christian thou hadst truly borne between our armies true intelligence.
What I have done my safety urged me to, and I will bear this fortune patiently, since not to be avoided it falls on me.
Bear Worcester to the death, and Vernon too. Other offenders we will pause upon. How goes the field?
The noble Scot, Lord Douglas, seeing the fortune of the day quite turned from him, the valiant Percy slain, and all his men upon the foot of fear, fled with the rest. At tumbling from a hill, he was so bruised that his pursuers took him. At my tent the Douglas is. And I beseech your grace that I may dispose of him.
With all my heart.
Then, Brother John of Lancaster, to you this honorable bounty shall belong. Go to the Douglas. Deliver him up to his pleasures, ransomless and free. His valor shown upon our crest today hath taught us how to cherish such high deeds, even in the bosom of our adversaries.
I thank your grace for this high courtesy, which I shall give away immediately.
Then this remains, that we divide our power. You, son John, and my cousin Westmoreland, towards York shall bend you with your dearest speed to meet Northumberland and the prelate's croak, who, as we hear, are busily in arms. Myself, and you, son Harry, shall toward Wales shall fight with Glendower and his Mortimer. Rebellion in this land shall lose his sway, meeting the check of such another day. And since this business so fair is done, let us not leave till all our own be won.